This morning we're fortunate enough to have JD here, along with his agent Scott Morris, the President of Baseball Operations Dave Dombrowski, and Manager Alex Core to take your questions. But before we begin with questions, I'm going to turn it over to Dave Dombrowski for some remarks.
Come here or go there? Stay there. Okay, I'll stay here then. Good morning. Thanks for everybody for coming. This is a big day for the Boston Red Sox organization. We're thrilled to be here. It's been a time period. We've had a lot of discussions, a lot of talk, but it's come to a fruitful end, and we're absolutely thrilled. A couple of thank yous before any introductions is I want to thank our ownership, John Henry, Tom Lerner, and Mike Gordon, for their support to make this happen. As always, they back us to try to give us whatever we can to provide a winning club, championship caliber type club for the city of Boston and our fans. Thank you to one of my assistants, Brian O'Halloran, who worked endless hours in trying to get this done, for hours and hours put in, way beyond the call of duty, what he did. So a great appreciation there. Appreciation to our doctors, our medical team who worked with us in arranging a lot of appointments and just getting this thing done. They put in endless hours and tried to educate me as much as possible. A thank you to Scott for, again, his endless hours in trying to get this done. So we're at a point now where we are ready to move forward. I think all of our off-season work is done as far as preparing people for our ball club. It's been a little bit different spring, where we have been dominated by conversations to bring people on board, first Eduardo and now JD. So I'm absolutely thrilled to be in the spot, and I will be in a position where I can make a great presentation. So officially, welcome JD Martinez to the organization. JD, congratulations.
Thank you.
And let's give you something you can wear here. Here we go. Well, let's start with this. This looks good. And here's Alex Cora's old number that he's happy to give up. So here you go. No, take your time.
It's kind of awkward. Everyone's looking.
Yeah, that's it. You normally don't trust in front of everybody. That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
JD?
No, I just want to thank Dave and Scott and the Red Sox organization for having me. It's been a long process, and I'm happy to put everything behind me and be here today, and I can finally go out and just play baseball. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the task at hand. I know this historic franchise and this organization, and winning is number one, and bringing a championship back to Boston is the ultimate goal, and I'm happy to now be a part of it.
Okay, with that, we can begin with the questions and answers. And we have a microphone. Please raise your hand if you have a question. I'm sorry, I'm trying to run back.
Yes, JD. How much damage do you expect to do at Fenway Park? And could you talk about the Red Sox lineup?
I'm expecting hopefully do a lot of damage. That's the game plan coming in. But as far as the Red Sox lineup goes, it's a strong lineup. It's a good lineup. I've been looking at them, checking them out, and kind of just studying them. Obviously, playing against them with Detroit, they got guys with a lot of speed, guys that get on base, guys that can really move around the bags, and produce runs very quickly. And I'm happy to be a part of that now.
Yes, can any of you discuss what the hang-up was the last few days and how that got resolved?
Well, we had, first of all, anytime you do something like this, it's, you're very thorough with all of your conversations. We also, I will say some of it, at this time of year, you're in a spot where everybody's not in one place for your physical. So JD actually did fly to Boston at one time to be checked out there because we just didn't have all the doctors here that we needed to. And then it was a matter of being in a position to, for us to kind of complete the language in the contract.
And that language is to protect the team from the injury, past injury, or?
Language was basically complete to really protect all sides in doing that and come up with the right language, which isn't always easily done. And there were a lot of people that really worked on that from Scott's perspective and from our club's perspective.
Sean, over here on the right.
JD, I was wondering if you could talk about, it was 3.5 months to reach agreement here in the off season, and then another week for this to get finalized and made official. How unnerving has this winter and off season and process been for you?
There were times, obviously we thought about it a little bit, but the good thing is that, talked to Scott and, I trusted my talent. I knew what I could do and I knew, what I bring to the table, and kind of just helped me just relax a little bit more. But, there were times we thought about it, but at the end of the day, it's part of the negotiations, part of the process type deal. But, I'm here now and ready to get it going.
Pete, right here in front, on the right.
JD, how do you see yourself fitting into this lineup? And you haven't had a lot of games as a DH, but that could be the case here. And what about going through that?
To me, it's baseball, really. I'm just kind of thinking about it. Just take it how I take it every game, how I've been playing this game for, since I was a kid, and continue to do the same routine I've been doing, whether it's DHing or playing the outfield. That was part of the, part of the deal coming in, is knowing that I am going to play the outfield, but I am going to DH at times too. And, I just kind of just do the same thing I've been doing, really.
Evan on the left, in the front.
JD, what's your expectation, understanding of the Boston market? Do you look forward to the scrutiny? Was that something you researched and talked about with players? I think David Price said he talked to you at one point. Me and David we never really talked about that exactly. We kind of just talk about the fans and, how kind of exciting it is to play there. David's always spoken, very well of, very highly of the Red Sox, and especially like the fan base of pitching in that ballpark and how fun it is to go out there every day and play every day. So that's kind of, with talking to Alex and stuff like that about going out there every day, and it's almost like Monday football has Monday night. Like they say in Fenway, it's every night's like Monday night football over there. So I'm excited. I love this game. I love to play, and to play in front of fans that are just as passionate and that love it just as much. It's exciting.
Yes, JD, can you talk about some of the adjustments you had made in the last few years to get where you are now in your offensive production?
4 years ago, 2013, I believe, going into 14, I kind of realized I had to make a change, and I really just kind of dedicated myself and really dove into the whole, what makes other players good, and kind of why can't I be that good type deal. And I kind of just started uncovering, little pieces, and really kind of just the lights came on for me. I started noticing things that I never noticed before, and started making adjustments, tweaks, and then one thing led to the next, and I kind of was onto something. I felt like I was onto something. I wrote it out, and here I am today.
And one more comment.
Yes, Alex, what's your reaction to the signing finally?
I was able to talk to JD in December, and yesterday we finished our conversation. This is a kid that he's passionate about the game. I've been telling everybody about the 24 hours, seven days a week experience in Boston, and he will enjoy that because he really cares about baseball. He enjoys it, and I think he's as passionate as I am. So it's a great fit, obviously. We got another great athlete in our ball club, versatile too, that he's going to help us, to win ball games. So I'm glad that it happened. I'm happy, and now we can move on.
Yeah, you and I have talked about your dad coming to this country and flipping pizzas at Domino's Pizza to support your family. And now you have this moment, which is what every ball player works for, free agency and signing a big contract. What does this mean to you and your family?
Oh man, it's huge. My family's, my dad and my mom are there, and I honestly, the sacrifice and the dedication that they've put in to, raising me and being where I am today is, second to none. I thank them every day. They're my best friends. They're not just my parents, and it's huge for them to come over from another country at such a young age and to have the success that they've had personally, not just through me, it's unbelievable. It's inspiring. It really is.
JD, when you walked out of the Astros clubhouse in Kissimmee in 2014, you didn't look particularly worried or scared. Would you have thought that you'd be in this position now, 4 years later, with this kind of contract?
We were actually talking about that on the way over here. Me and my parents, who would have thought? And it's a blessing. I got to thank God for it, and I thank Him every day for it. And if I wouldn't have thought that, 4 years ago. But as I began to learn, and I remember when I got released, and I was walking out of that clubhouse, and everyone's kind of just, telling me hey man, it's okay, this and that. I don't know. I felt such a confidence because I kind of knew what I've worked on and what I kind of discovered. And I remember saying to everyone, I was like, I'll be back, don't worry, I'll be all right. And it's in God's favor where He just kind of led me down this road and led me through the story, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Nick on the left.
Scott, hope you enjoyed your stay in Fort Myers.
Lovely.
Yeah. Was this negotiation tougher than you thought from the outset?
Well, I'm not sure tough is the word. It's really these negotiations are more of a cooperative venture because you're dealing with medical, legal. The idea that the goal is common, very mutual. We all wanted to execute an agreement that we all thought was in the best interest for both JD and the Red Sox. Dave and I have known one another a long time, and we've gotten to know each other a lot better over the last 5 days. and
That says a lot.
that says a lot, yeah. But the idea of it is clarity. You really have to go through every step of this and be very clear so that each of the parties understand the dynamics of what is clear medically, what is clear legally, and that process took its course, and there was good faith intent throughout of it. It was not an adversarial process, it was a process of understanding. So through that, we were able to come to an accord.
Brian, back up.
Dave, you made an effort last year, obviously, to get back under the luxury tax threshold and to reset the penalties and all that. How did that process and this process to make this team work with the system that's in place, how challenging was that?
Well, I think you come up with a plan and a process, and it's something that we work through. You project. I've talked about. We have payroll projections 5 years into the future, and you try to see as you project players' performance. You try to project young players coming into your ball club and what their salaries will be. It was something that we felt was important last year to get under the luxury tax. We were able to accomplish that. Our people worked hard in making that happen, our scouts, and it really was a good combination of young players coming in and letting us do that because we felt that we were in a spot that we were going to go back over it. And it's something that we've set up with through ownership, through Sam Kennedy, through our accounting people. So it's not always easy, but it's also something that you work towards, and hopefully you can accomplish your goals.
JD, when did you go up to Boston, and was there ever a moment during this process that you were worried, the deal wouldn't be completed?
When was it that I went up to Boston? Wednesday? Thursday?
And no, not really. You know, that thought never crossed my mind. I just, you know, I kind of knew that it was really, like they said, being thorough, going through everything, you know, crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's type deal, and you know, I never really once worried about it.
During that time, were you in contact with your future teammates or talking to guys on the team?
I texted, me and David would text, but just, you know, generic stuff type deal. But not really, just, you know, kind of just laying quiet. Everyone kind of knew what was going on and stuff like that. They just, you know, they've all been through it.
Dave, can you talk about what you saw in JD in 2014 in Detroit when he got let go by the Astros? You signed him. What did you see in him to try to project the kind of performance that's resulted in the last few years?
Well, I could never pretend to be so intelligent to project that JD would be in this position. We liked him. I mean, we actually, and I mean, I'm sure JD will remember, before he even revamped his swing, we liked him in 2013. I remember hitting a home run at Comerica Park against Max, I think,
Scherzer,
yeah, against Scherzer at that point. So anytime anyone did that, that kind of catches your attention. And so we liked him then. We actually tried to trade for him. They would not trade him at that time. He would have been a good fit for our club. It was just the circumstances then at that point. We had people in the organization that knew JD. We really didn't see him much during spring training because he didn't play very much in 2014, so it was based upon our past reports. There was a coach that we had that he'll know, Dave Clark, who recommended him very highly to us at that time. We had people, Alex Avila had played with JD and touch base, so we had a combination of people that liked him. So it really was a matter of a bunch of things coming together, and we were fortunate enough that I think it was probably the connections that JD had with somebody like Alex at that time that he really decided to sign with us because he had other opportunities. And I think the first day he went to a spring training game in the minor league complex because it was late enough. He didn't join us. He went to the minor league complex. They didn't get 3 home runs like the second day there. And so everybody said, you know, J.D. Martinez hit 3 home runs. He said, wow. And it just kept going. Didn't stop at that point.
JD, I know that you haven't had a lot of DH experience and that you still want to play the outfield, but do you think, given how carefully you study at bats, it's well known how much you pay attention, keep your notebook, look at a lot of video, that the DH role actually might be beneficial for you, the ability to go back in between at bats to review things between innings, work on things between at bats? Could that actually be a good thing for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I kind of did that when I played right field too. So it never really stopped me. I'm always, you know, hungry for information and stuff like that. So, you know, yeah, there might be a positive to it. You know, I think, you know, I'd say the challenge of the DHing is going to be the learning the routine and to stay loose and stay warm and be, you know, kind of be ready for it. But it definitely could be a you know, a positive thing.
Chad?
JD, I think this stood out as a natural fit from the outside from the beginning of the offseason. This seemed like it made sense. Did it feel that way to you when this was a long, sort of unusual winter? Did this feel like a natural possibility?
I don't know. It's hard to say that because at the beginning it was kind of so everything was so new, and I was kind of just a little overwhelmed with everything that was going on, you know, all the teams and stuff like that. But then as, you know, as off season kind of just kept going, it kind of grew on me, like, in that direction.
Alex, I know you've talked a little bit about your lineup, and that's been Entendi Ramirez. Have you figured out exactly where you want to put JD?
He'll be in the 3 or 4 spot. I think this is a guy that not only he can hit homers, but his ability to hit for average too. I mean, the way he barrels balls, I think it was like 492 at bats, and he barreled 60 balls last year. So he's not only a home run hitter, he's a complete hitter. So, you know, he's a guy that you put in the middle of the lineup, you know, probably, you know, you hit in third and he'll hit in the first inning. So he'll be in one of those 2 spots. But one thing we have to know about this, we not only got better lineup-wise and on the field, what he brings in that clubhouse, the way he prepares, I'm looking forward for him to connect with players, help the young players. He did an outstanding job last year with the D-backs, and that's also something he's going to bring as far as preparation and using information. We were talking about it for the last 2 months. Now we got a guy that he believes in it, and I know he's willing to share information, so that's going to be an asset for us.
I got time for a couple more. Tom, in the back.
JD, Alex just talked about what you bring to the clubhouse, and as a veteran, are there other players as you came up through the game, young guys that you sort of looked to and learned from as far as their leadership and what it meant to you as a young player, guys you kind of modeled that part of your game after?
Yeah, when I first signed, when I was with Houston at the beginning, we really didn't have that much of a veteran presence. But when I went to Detroit, I remember just being locker mates with Torrey Hunter. And, dude, I can't say enough great things about Torrey. Just the way he carried that clubhouse and the things, little tricks I've learned, how these guys can change the mood in a clubhouse. And, between him, between Miggy, Victor, Ian, I was very fortunate enough to play with those guys and, learn a lot of tricks from them. But then going to Arizona and just kind of seeing how Goldie did what he did and how he really controlled that clubhouse, it was, I was able to learn a lot, and I've been able to play, fortunately for me, I've been able to play with a lot of really good players and a lot of really good leaders.
Okay, Ian on the left.
Alex, what kind of rotation system do you envision with JD? I mean, do you have a set amount of times you see him play the outfield of the week versus DH? How do you think it will play out?
Well, we'll talk about it later on. One thing for sure, we go to Miami, for 2 days in the first road trip. So, you might see him out there. But he's a guy that I know he's versatile enough that we can make this work. I know there's gonna be at bats for everybody. We're gonna use him the right way, and I know he's gonna contribute.
Okay, last two. Marley and then
JD, Dave just mentioned how important it was with Avila being at the Tigers. You just mentioned how important are those teammates of yours. How important was it, your connections with teammates here? I know you work out with Hanley, with Rusney Castillo. Was that important to you too, to have established relationships by deciding to come to the Red Sox?
I think it's definitely it was definitely important for the fact that just getting to kind of know the energy in the clubhouse, kind of seeing what these guys are about. Kind of whenever you meet guys from different teams, you can kind of see what, especially when they're together. And being with Hanley and Vasquez, the catcher, they all worked out. We all work on the same spot, and there's always, Miami's such a small place when it comes to baseball that you're always seeing guys, and so being able to talk to them, being able to pick their minds a little bit. They'd always tease me, about hey, Hanley would always tease me, hey, spring training report date February 15th, don't be late. And I just started laughing and stuff like that. So it was cool. It was definitely cool. It definitely helped, I feel like.
Just with the holdup, how do you feel physically? And there was a report from USA Today that your right foot was the issue. Can you confirm that or discuss just how you're feeling physically?
I'm healthy. I've been healthy since when was it, May? Since I got back from the DL. I've been healthy. I felt great, and I've been ready to go since I've gotten back.
Okay, all right. Thanks, everyone. We're gonna do one final photo op. You guys will just stand here. Okay, thanks, everybody. Both Dave and Scott will be available for some one-on-ones, and shortly after that, we'll have Alex for